Since its revival, Chicago's Succubus Club has had only one rival for Nightclub of the Dead, the Asylum in Los Angeles. The Voerman sisters run the joint, or joints, as the Asylum franchise now appears to regnate across America, Asia, and Europe. Famous for both their enterprising natures and combative personalities, the Voerman loathe each other, despite their success. In LA, to do a Voerman is to make a member of your own coterie a sworn enemy. Therese and Jeanette now run separate asylums, one in Santa Monica, another in Hollywood. They never appear in the same club. Only the Malkavians closest to the Voermans know Therese and Jeanette is the same vampire. Two distinct personalities sharing the same body. Some say she bore this condition as a mortal, while others claim there were two sisters, but one killed the other. Other rumors whisper about another sister who act as an imprisoned thrall to the Malkavian. Highly volatile, the Voermans prove that Malkavians can be as inspired and prosperous as any Toreador of entry. But many anarchs anticipate the moment that Therese and Jeanette go to war with each other. Greetings, Kindred. I am Voivode Maquette, and this is Metaplot Monday, where we are going to be going over the lore sheet for Jeanette, Therese Voerman, the lovable Malkavians from Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, as well as Vampire the Masquerade LA by Night, the broadcast role-playing tabletop adventure hosted by Jason Carl with such wonderful characters in it. The Voerman twins are fun. They just are. They're your Malkavians. They're both Malkavians that you run into, the very serious ones and the kind of silly ones. It's like watching Harley Quinn from the Joker. You know? It is like watching Harley do her thing, but then switch and just be on point and businesslike. They are intimidating, but Malkavians are meant to be. They're meant to be either terrifying or understated. Everyone should be afraid of the Malkavian that doesn't seem scary, because there's some shit up there. Then there's also the Malkavians who have gone through stuff. When shit hits the fan, they step aside. The Malkavians that have not gone through anything don't know to step aside. And they just get covered in shit. Because shit hit the fan. And it went everywhere. And that's their breaking point. That's when several kindred in the room are not walking out of that room. Not whole, anyway. Anyway, as far as Malkavians go, I love the Voerman twins. I do my best when I play Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines to try to get them to work out their problems, depending on what I'm playing. Obviously, if I'm playing something that's Camarilla loyal, I'm going to be more on the idea of getting Therese through things. If I want to play something more Anarch, Jeanette is obviously going to be what I'm selling. But most of the time, when I play that game, I'm out for my own fucking self. And therefore, I try to keep both of them alive because they're both useful in their own way. That being said, let's take a look at this beautiful lore sheet that has to deal with the most out there vampires in Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. Putting 1 point into this lore sheet, you get Asylum membership. You never need to wait in a queue to enter the Asylum. You always have one of the best seats in the house, and as long as you don't fuck up, you may hunt there once or twice per session. Difficulty of 2, without any ruffled feathers. That's pretty damn good for a 1 point thing. It's free feeding rights, which that can be difficult in a vampire game, truthfully. If you have a game where your storyteller has actually sat down and mapped out where the feeding areas are, it can be kind of hard to fucking feed. And I understand that a lot of people take herd and things like that, but like, seriously, like, being able to go to a place and feed unimpeded, it's a great place to go. And with a place like the Asylum, that might be a place where you can go to get your special chosen type, your vintage, if you will. Putting 2 points affords you Performing Monkey. Jeanette and Therese know you as a reliable asset, and they frequently subject you to missions ranging from serious investigations to flights of insane fancy. Although dangerous, they are generous, and they repay any boons incurred. That not only gives you trust to major power brokers in that game, but it gives you things to do. If a player takes this, you can base, as a storyteller, you can base full plot lines on these things. This is something to encourage, in my opinion. And I mean, video calls, phone calls, things like that, you can get these NPCs to interact, even though they're both in LA the majority of the time. 3 points gets you Jeanette's favorite. Jeanette Voerman, the wild child of the Voerman family, adores you, pets you, and flirts with you. Though she is arguably the less stable of the sisters, she's also the more generous one. You may stay in the day chamber of any Asylum club if you require. If Jeanette is there, she insists you do. Use the club to host your own parties and ask for favors, small and large, from the Anarch Baron. Jeanette counts as a 4-dot mala, but only for the purpose of Malkavian and Anarch dealings. 3 points. And you have Safe Haven. You have an NPC of considerable power and fear, which can sometimes be more important than power, who wants you around, pets you, flirts with you. But if those of you who have played Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, she flirts with everybody who flirts with her back. What was that wonderful things that her sister said? You're like a stray dog. You rub against anything that feeds you, and then you bite the hand. Fun character. Obviously something that can get you into a lot of trouble, but a 4-dot mala when it comes to Anarch interactions and Malkavian dealings. That's worth 3 points in my opinion. Investing 4 points gets you Therese's favorite. Therese Voerman, the uptight, strict member of the Voerman family, respects and values you. Her business-orientated mind does not allow her to expend the Asylum's resources on your luxury, but she speaks up for you in any regnum where an Asylum is present, and can school you in business and finance if you require it. She counts as a 3-dot mala. I can actually kind of understand the fact that with 3 points invested, you get a 3-point mala, with 4, you get a 4-point. Due to the fact that you are going to get more serious shit done when it comes to working with Therese. But Jeanette is just going to flaunt you. She's going to do whatever she can to keep you happy if it keeps her happy. So it does make a lot of sense with who you're getting. So depending on your character, you might want to take that in consideration. This is obviously not a lore sheet that you're going to take. A lot of these aren't lore sheets that you're going to take specifically for the benefit. You're going to take it to match up with the meta plot, what type of character you yourself are playing. In this situation, an uptight Ventru character who is trying to make his way in the Ventru world to be accepted in the Ventru way is not probably going to go for Jeanette, though she can give you more of a benefit. You're probably going to end up going with Therese, who's going to give you more of a serious face. So that is something to take into consideration, that it's not about point alignment. It's about what certain things will get you, given their context. Investing 5 points, you get Asylum Operator. Jeanette or Therese permit you to franchise an asylum club in your domain. As long as the club remains open, you have 4 dots to spend on Haven, Herd, Resources, or the chase of your domain, depending on your club's focus, which may be changed over time. Whether the club is an Elysium is up to you. That is interesting. The idea of owning a franchise for the Asylum. Because Asylum is where it's at. That's just the thing. It has become the new Succubus Club. It is competition for the Succubus Club. Now that could very well lead you into some severe political problems depending on where your game is set. You obviously don't want to be competition to the Succubus Club in an area where the Succubus Club is going to be landing on you, you know? But the idea of those things being available to you and being able to change as you see fit. I would say that to change any of these points around, that would cause you shuffling your resources. Basically, you would have to choose what things are what, and I would say that would take downtime actions for that kind of thing. So, considering on how your character would handle that, what you would use that for, the Asylum would be a fun thing to have. Whether you're playing a Malkavian or a Toreador or hell, even a Ventru, any clan could really take this and ride with it. I see this more for something the Anarchs might take, but due to Therese's interaction with the Camarilla, you might be able to pull that off with that also, because obviously, politics aside, money is money, and the Asylum is lucrative. These are all wonderful things to think about. And again, I really, really like this lore sheet, much as I like all the other ones. And the fact that they're taking these fun NPCs like the Voermans and making them accessible to not just storyteller use, but for player incentive. Storytellers might not even think about bringing the Voermans or even the Asylum Club into a game, but having a player take any of those puts you in a situation where you are obligated to do your damn research when it comes to building that club, because it can't just be a room where there's going to be people that you can eat. It's going to be the center of attention. It's going to cause upset. In a Camarilla city, the prince is going to be worried about the possibility that the infamous Voerman twins might be in their town. You know, who's working with them? Who's causing this upheaval in their domain? That is seriously something that I think that storytellers need to take into consideration when you're looking at these lore sheets, because these lore sheets tell you exactly what your players want to do in your game. It's not just like the old backgrounds where it was just like, oh, I have these because it gets me money and lets me do some shit. I had 5 points in the old system. You get 5 points to throw into backgrounds. Didn't have anything else to do, so I popped my money in influence. No, this is better. This is more filled out, more life, and I think that is something that we can all appreciate both as players and as storytellers. I am Voivode Maquette, and this has been a look at the Therese, Jeanette, Tourette lore sheet for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, and I hope you enjoyed that. Good evening.